So guys, I've asked Ron to lead the meeting today. So we're going to kick it off. Ron, I'm going to share my screen and get the bell going.
Okay, sounds good.
Better with audio. All right.
Bell.
And next.
Very silent bell. So next we're going to have our pledge, and Dottie, would you do the honor, please?
Did you say Dottie?
Dottie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the
United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
One nation,
one nation,
united,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you, Dottie. And now we'll have our four-way test. And let's see, Mike Curtis, would you please do the honor?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair
to
all
all concerned?
concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it
Be beneficial to all concerned?
And have fun.
Fun.
All right. Thank you all very much. Welcome to everybody this morning. Rick, you're in New Hampshire. Craig is in Cambodia. The rest of us are spread throughout the known civilized universe. And do we have any announcements this morning from anybody? And we'll kind of roll announcements into happy dollars. So happy dollars are announcements, or you can do them separately, whatever you want. Who wants to go first?
I had a quick question. Would everyone be interested in doing the tasting room for one of our pauhanas?
Absolutely.
I know Mike knows Dan, but I'm going to try to reach out to them today, but see if we can set up for next week. But just wanted to see if that would be something that people would be interested in. Being that's a little different from where we've met before. So.
Yeah, we've had meetings there before.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Thanks, Jonathan. And you'll send out an announcement to everybody. Perfect.
Also on this?
Jan.
I have a couple of announcements and a happy bug. The announcements, Cyrus and Jonathan and I interviewed 6 really qualified students for the HRYF scholarship, the $5,000 scholarship. And we picked Ashley, I forget her last name. She wants to become a dermatologist. I know she'll do a great job. So really excited about that. And then I believe it's this weekend that they're interviewing the statewide winners for the extra $5,000.
This.
Sorry. You have a question? Oh, okay. And then secondly, Friday starts the first Zoom RILA camp district-wide. We only have one student on Kauai that signed up, but they're really excited about it. It's going to go Friday night and all day Saturday into Saturday evening on Zoom. And then my happy buck, I have 5 happy bucks because I want to brag about my husband, but Rodney, hard to see this. Some of you might know already that they've been trying to get the King Kamuli'i statue placed at the old Russian fort in Waimea. And they're finally going to do that. They're having an opening ceremony. Of course, it's limited to 25 people, so I can't invite you all. But Rodney helped to design the platform for that. And this has been years in the planning stage, and I'm really excited and proud of him for doing that.
Congratulations, Rodney.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
And Jen, apparently my internet connectivity is a little bit spotty this morning, so I think that's probably why the audio is not as good this morning. Ted.
I have a few updates. One, as Rotary family, I just wanted to let everybody know that our Kaleo member, Peggy Knowles, is having surgery today. So if you can keep her and Emerson in your thoughts and prayers and reach out to them afterwards.
So are they back in Arizona?
No, it's here.
Oh, okay.
In Rotary news, you probably saw it's official now that the Rotary International Convention is rescheduled for Honolulu in 2027. So we get to do it all over again. And that will be one of the largest conventions ever held in Hawaii. So it's a big project, and the Hawaii Tourism Authority and the Visitor and Convention Bureau were great partners with us in putting together the bid, and the state of Hawaii providing lots of funding and facilities to make that happen, as well as manpower. Also at our district, I don't know if any of you seen, they kicked off this year a program they called Rotary Means Business. And they've done a couple big things with that. One is having an online directory of Rotary member businesses from throughout the state. And those are posted on our Rotary district website, rotaryd5000.org. So if you have a business and you're not listed there yet, reach out to Janet Kelly and she can get you posted there in the business directory as a way of seeing other Rotarians and their businesses and making connections business to business. Along with that, then they've also had a few evening Zoom calls where Rotarians get together and they go around, and different ones will talk about their business for 2 or 3 minutes. Just sort of a little overview for awareness and for people to exchange contact information. So the next one of those is coming up March 2nd at 7 p.m. So if you're looking to network with some businesses even beyond Kauai and on the other islands, that's a great opportunity to do that. And then we talked several weeks ago about getting our Adopt a Highway project going. The Matson program was still on hold because of COVID, but if we drive our own trucks to pick up the trash bags and take them to the dump, we can do it the way we used to do before Matson. And Jonathan has volunteered he would go to the highway department and pick up supplies for us, but we need to pick a date. So I'm wondering what people think of a date in March. Like, is there a preference between the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th?
No preference on my side.
Maybe we can do it a day we're not having a meeting.
in Rotary, that's never. Yeah, Rodney, what do you think? 13?
Any day for me. I'm good.
Okay.
Same with me.
So you're having a week, a month where you're doing a community service project. Can you do it that week?
Well, how about we do the 20th? That'd be the third week. We don't have a Zoom meeting that week.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's. I'll put it on our calendar for March 20th. Jonathan, if you do, you want me to reach out to the highway department? Do you have the contact?
I don't know. I don't think I have the contact, but if you still haven't sent it my way, I can.
You might want to check storage to see if you have a bunch of bags there still. I think I put a box of them in
Yeah.
after the last one.
I also bought a bunch of gloves last year. I don't know what happened to them, but I bought a box of gloves.
It might
Mike,
be. It might be
you're
with
all right.
extra bags.
There are a bunch of supplies in the storage unit, but I don't know exactly what. I think there are some bags, and I think there's some T-shirts.
And then Jonathan, you might want to check with the highway department. In the past, if without the Matson container, we were able to put the bags all in one site off the highway, and the highway department would come and pick them up on Monday. So we wouldn't have to actually transfer them to the transfer station.
Oh, that would be even better. Yeah.
So you may want to ask them if they have a collection site we can put all the Tide bags. It used to be in Kauai, I remember, kind of near Cooley Road, but see what they say, if they have a place we can store them.
Any other announcements?
I am here.
Rodney, yes.
Let's see. Am I okay? Well, I just want to announce that I believe I'm in a good, clean bill of health. Managed to play golf this past weekend. Anyway, been working and feel good. So I want to, yeah, happy bucks, 5 happy bucks also. And Jen gave me permission to grow my mustache back. But it's growing out white.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Any other announcements this morning? One reminder, I think Rick sent out to the club membership about a proposed new member, Joycelyn, and please take a look at that. And if there's any questions or anything, please send those back to Rick. So any other announcements? Anything anybody wants to share? If not, we'll move on to our speaker this morning. And Samantha, I apologize if I butcher your last name, so you may need to give me a little bit of help there. So our speaker this morning is Samantha Henriques, Executive Director of Healing Horses Kauai, Equine Assisted Activities and Therapy Services, and they are built on a foundation of respect, empathy, trust, love, cooperation, and empowerment with regards, with regards for humans of all abilities and equines alike. Healing Horses Kauai strives to empower each individual to address and challenge their unique needs physically, emotionally, cognitively, and socially. Samantha received BA degrees in sports medicine, environmental biology, English, and physical education. MS degree in HPER sports psychology, and post-baccalaureate teaching certificate in secondary science from UH Manoa. She has been volunteering at Healing Horses since 2008. Samantha, welcome to our meeting this morning, and the time is now yours. And you're still muted. There we go.
Thank you. I'm sorry I came in late because lots going on. It's school kids and animals and everything else. So I only heard the tail end of my intro, so I don't know what he told you I'm here to present today, but basically Healing Horses is starting a brand new pilot project we are offering for the first time ever a veterans program with a concomitant teen leadership program. And so I wrote to everybody on the island I could think of to get the word out, like, hey, we're looking for veterans. So we still need 2 more veterans. So if you know a veteran who wants to hang out with some horses on Sunday afternoons, please let your veterans know. I wrote grant, we got scholarship, so it's completely free of charge. And it's a 1-hour session that they get to work with the horses, and they'll be partnered with teenagers and a horse, and they'll use the same teenagers and hopefully the same horse all 8 weeks. And it starts March 7th and runs through April 25th. Depending on, it's a very move on your own pace kind of course. So depending on how physically conditioned the folks come in will, determine where they culminate at. But right now, the 13 applicants that we have, the ages range, the dates of birth range from 1930. Do the math on that, 1930. All the way to 1989. So it's a lot, many different eras of veterans. And some are there just to be with horses. Some are there to actually be with the teenagers that are helping them. And some are there to actually work on anxiety issues or physical strengthening issues, what they feel that the horse can provide them. So as the introduction said, their horsemanship can bring so many benefits, and it's not just, it's an outdoor activity and gets people outside. And because we are a 18-acre facility, the county has zoned us an outdoor event venue. So we are allowed to have upwards of 50 people spread out over the 18 acres, as long as we are all masked and we squirt with the hand sanitizer and follow all the safety protocols. So during this time, it was important for us to bring on a new program that we could follow the social distancing rules, but get people active again. And like, I don't know if any of you have teenagers in your house that have been locked in the house for the last year. They need some friends. So we have activities where they can participate safely without risking getting exposed too much, because we're all very, when you're on a horse, you're not being very close to somebody. So anyhow, so it's a way to be social. And for the veterans, that's important as well. Sometimes there's a sense of isolation there. So it's a way to be social. There is the physical development, like, you do use muscles that you haven't used while sitting on the couch, riding a horse. Who here, raise your hand if you've ridden a horse. And the next day, your legs felt like noodles. So you do use muscles that you haven't used before. So there's a physical therapy component to it. But then there's the huge benefit, and the part that is really amazing is the mental or the psychological benefit of it. Horses, being the prey animals that they are, have certain survival instincts that they will react right then in the present moment. And they also have different sensors with the eyes, the ears, the nose, and stuff. And so they will give you instant feedback based on your body language. And so you've always been told, and I saw most of your hands go up when they said, have you ridden a horse? So you were always told, don't sit like a sack of potatoes, sit up straight and tall. And that is because the way, when you're sitting, your weight is shifting in the saddle, right? So they want you to have your weight balanced in the saddle and stuff. But what we envision doing the first couple weeks of the program is we're going to be doing something called Pirelli Natural Horsemanship Games. And those games really drive the point home that the horse is looking at your body language. There's this one particular game where you're basically going to get the horse to spin its back end around just by giving it a stinky look. You give it a stinky look and you waggle your finger and the horse goes whoop. And That's because when you establish that bond, so it's not going to happen the first time you try it, but when you establish that working bond by doing the other games, believe it or not, you give the horse a stinky look at its hind end, and the horse will whoop. And then when you straighten up, the horse will stop moving. And so it's when you succeed at these games, you will truly have mastery of your own body language between the tension in your muscles and the expression on your face. And the horse gives you the feedback like, oh yeah, I did it. I controlled my own self and I understood the psychology of the horse and I pulled this off. And so that's going to be, I would say half of the program is going to be groundwork. The other half, depending on what condition the veterans come to us in, some of them on their application said they might not be able to actually get on the horse, and that's okay. We can do more groundwork, and we also have miniatures that can pull a cart. And so we might have them pulling the cart. But half of it will be on the ground and the other half will either be mounted or in the carriage. And so in that hour, they'll be getting groundwork and some kind of riding work. And they'll also be bonding with each other and the teens. So I wrote to everyone basically asking for help getting the word out. Like I said, we're still needing 2 more veterans because I don't want to have to send the grant money back. It's an all or none. We need 15. So find me 2. But then there's some other programs that I wanted to share screen with you. I'm going to try to share screen, and this is my first time sharing screen on Zoom. So pardon my ignorance here. But I wanted to show you, oh, I need to press this one. This is a picture. Michael, I can see you on the side. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see this picture? Okay, good, I did it. So this is an aerial photo of our arena, and onto the left of it, you see a circle with a tent in there. That's our medicine wheel. And so we have a social worker that comes and does treatment there in that tent there before her clients go and ride with us. It is also a place where we have people that sometimes when they come there are not quite ready to play with the horses. And so they can go there, and we have one boy that's on the autism spectrum that is so excited, but he's got way the wrong vibe. And so he goes in there and he actually pets the flowers, and then he's safe enough to be around the horses. So the medicine there is there. On top of the medicine wheel, so to the top of the picture, that's our compost area for the manure. And to the right of the arena is our stalls. Now we just secured some funding to actually replace all the tarp tents of the stalls with carports. So we're finally going to have stalls that don't blow away every time we get big wind. So that's spectacular. Well, for us anyway. And then if you've been to Kauai and you've gone to the coconut marketplace, you know, across the highway from the coconut marketplace, all that property there that's all overgrown, that's technically our property, the Healing Horses property. So just last week, we got a machine in there and we cleared 1 acre out of that 10 acres. And that's where we're going to construct an obstacle course for this veterans program. So we're going to have obstacles like a bridge and vertical curtain and horizontal curtain so that the veterans can lead their horses and or ride, depending, like I said, how far they progress, because it's a move at your own pace program, through the obstacles and hopefully by week 8, they'll be able to challenge all 7 obstacles with the bridges and such. Then let's see here, sharing my screen again. Boop. So this is below our medicine wheel is this round pen down here. That was with help of the JROTC. Oh, here's one of our horses, Brewski, and one of our riders. But this round pen, we're still working on the footing. It's a flood zoned area because it's right near a 1 acre pond. And so it gets kind of mushy. So outside of the general request for help getting veterans and getting the word out, we also have a whole host of projects that if you have able-bodied volunteers or financiers that we could need some help with. So one of the projects is this Madsen shipping container up here. We have recently cut out these door holes and cut out window holes, and we're trying to the best of our abilities to frame it out and turn it into an office, tack room, and feed room. Another project, like I said, is we started clearing the front 10 acres across from Coconut Marketplace. We only secured enough funding to clear the 1 acre, but we obviously have the next 9 acres to go. And once we get it all cleared, we're gonna fence it and turn it into riding trail and pasture, and that will be better for our horses. And better for in our pond system, we have the native Hawaiian gallinule, the native Hawaiian coot, we have the Hawaiian duck, we have the night heron. We have the sandpipers that are nesting in our compost. So like we have all sorts of native bird species. We have some turtles. The nene, there's a nesting pair of nene on the back. So if we take care of our property, we can help the environment with the birds, but we also have some volunteers. Over here, we have a plant nursery. And right now we have over 100 lolu palms, you know, the Prochardia species palm, and we have the Nihawensis kind, the Robinson variety of palms, and we're starting to outplant them. Every 25 feet, we're gonna have the Prochardia palm or the lolu palms around our entire 18 acres. So, and then we also have some willy willies and some lona meas and some other native Hawaiian species, and we're gonna try to restore the mesic ecosystem around the 18-acre property and incorporate the native plants within our pastures and within our riding trails. And high in the sky, long-term range plan is that we're gonna label the trees with numbers and QR codes, and it's gonna be a botanical trail where you can go and actually learn about the species. Because I was really actually super inspired by the Kilauea golf course, the miniature golf course, and how you can go there to miniature golf and actually learn a whole heck of a lot about the plants and about the cultures that came here. And I want to try to recreate that around our trails, and so that they can learn to ride, but also learn about their ecosystem and the culture around them. Trying to think what else I wanted to say. I'm so scatterbrained this morning. I'm so sorry. We're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for hands to help us do these projects. And our website is healinghorseskauai.org. We have a calendar of events coming up. Like I said, the veterans program is what we're really pushing this week, because the teen leadership component, where the teens are getting trained not only on how to work with a horse, but also to work with a veteran and do a leadership program with a social emotional learning curriculum. That's this weekend, but then 2 weekends from now, we're starting our spring camp, because believe it or not, school spring break is coming up on March 15th. It's like, oh, the school year is flying by. So if we go to here, meet the people, our founder and president of the board now is Karen Stoll, and Healing Horses, I think it was, oh man, who did my introduction? Was it Rick? Ooh, I can't remember. Oh, Ron did my introduction. Like he said, she came up with the concept in 2001 because she was working as a social worker, and she brought her clients to meet her personal horse, and her clients would open up. So better than bribing the kid with candy or toys, it was bribing the kid to come to therapy with the horses, and it worked. And so in 2008, she made it a nonprofit organization, and I got involved then because I was bringing my son for, because he was a nonverbal with nonverbal autism and was stimming, and it worked. It worked, and I was just hooked. He's now got no label, no diagnosis, graduating summa cum laude. It worked. And so Karen is our board president, and she's been at it a while. And we have Zoe Babbitts as our secretary. And where did our treasurer go? Oh, treasurer is Moana. She works for the county of Kauai in the engineering department. Zoe's an artist up in the North Shore. Sue is a retired graphic artist. And Cole is fantasy t-shirts and Kauai tees. And then we have over 50 volunteers, ages 12 through 80 something. So volunteers come in all sorts of ages and sizes and skill sets. And so we have volunteers that come as feeders, and they come on their own to take care of our horses. We have volunteers that come as like yard maintenance. They mow the lawn once a week or the parking lot. And we have volunteers that actually work in the arena, being the sidewalker. So if you see in this picture here, this man is in the sidewalker position. He's basically there just to make sure that kid doesn't fall off. And then we have volunteers that work as horse leaders. So the reason why this particular rider has a sidewalker and a horse leader is they're there for a therapeutic ride, and they don't have the ability to stay on or steer by themselves. So they got a horse leader leading the horse and then a sidewalker for safety. And so we do always try to encourage independence, but for certain individuals, we have to have this extra staffing. So we do have over 50 people that do help us with making sure the horses and riders stay safe at all times. I've kind of been going around in circles like an eddy in the river. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Question?
Any questions? Yeah, Craig.
How many horses you have on the ranch now? And I imagine your feed costs must be pretty high. If you don't have your pasture.
Gosh, yes. So right now we have 6 large horses. We've got Brewski, who is a senior citizen at 28. Then we've got Ivan, who is our big boned beauty. He can handle up to 240 pounds of rider. Brewski, when he was in his prime, could handle 280, but he is no longer in his prime. And so we're keeping Brewski under 200 pounds of rider right now. We have Shido and Kiko, Riddles, and Hina. Now Hina's actually very small. She's a pony. She's 14 hands. So those are our 6 large horses that you can actually mount and ride. And then we have these 2 miniature horses, Lollipop and Jellybean, and they are full of feist, but they actually pull the little 2-wheeled cart. And then for special events, we bring out the goats. We have Spot and Spurl, and we actually have a 3rd goat, July. And so Spot and Spurl can pull in tandem or solo, and July pulls solo. So you can see here that they're all hitched up and ready to go. And this is at one of our youth horsemanship camps. So right now we have the Mauka 6 acres cleared, and and then there's also the parking lot and the pond. The pond is 1 acre and the parking lot's 1 acre. But the Mauka 6 acres for 8 horses, it's pretty much a dirt patch. So our feed bills are astronomical. It's over $1,400 a month. And so that's why we're making this huge push to clear the front 10 acres and convert it to pasture with the perimeter of riding trail and the native plants. So any help we can get there, if you know anybody with heavy machinery, just to clear it. When we cleared, because when we first got this 18-acre land piece, again, one of it's a parking lot and one of it's a pond. When we first got it, the whole thing was that Haulikoa mess that it is on the front 10 acres. And so we've slowly been clearing it with hand tools, but the time has come to do it with the big heavy machinery and just get it done. Because it's better for the horses' psyche to be on pasture eating grass. It's better for their physicalness because you don't want them eating sand and stuff. And then it will save us money in the long run. Even though it's so expensive to fence and clear, it will save us money not having to buy the feed. Good question. It drives home the point of why we have to finish clearing. But it also opens up the next question. We actually need to source. We need to find 2 more big boned beauties. We need to get some draft horses in because, like I said, there are a lot of adults who we would like to serve, but because they're over 250 pounds, we don't have a horse they can sit on. So we would like to get like some Percheron crossed with a quarter horse or some draft horse, anything a draft or draft cross, Percheron, Frisian, Belgian. Clydesdales tend to be a wee bit tall, but anything, the big boned horses, so that we could actually serve clients that exceed 300 pounds. So the problem with the horses is horses of those size are very hard to come by. So most of the time you have to source them from the mainland. And if you've ever tried to ship a horse from the mainland, it's very, very expensive. We just got a quote to ship a horse from South Carolina, and it was going to cost us $4,000 to get it from South Carolina to LAX, and another $5,000 to get it from LAX to Kauai. So it actually cost more than the horse to get the horse from the East Coast to Hawaii. So we had to pass on that horse. But if we could get 2 or 3 of them, the shipping gets cheaper because you're basically shipping in bulk. But we need to get 2 more horses, and there are at least 5 other horsemanship centers across Hawaii. There's 2 on Oahu, 2 on Maui, and 1 on the Big Island that's about to get started. And we're all in the same boat. We're all shopping for these big horses and nobody can find them. So if you know a guy, let us know. Any other questions?
You related to Bernie?
Bernie Henriques? Oh, no, Bernie Enrique at the high school is no H. I am related to, there was a business teacher at the Kapaa High School. His name was Eugene Henriques, is my father-in-law. I know you guys are Poipu side, but we're all Kapaa side. Except oh, you're Kilauea. Okay.
Well, Enriquez was Kilauea, Bernie.
Oh, yeah. Bernie currently works at the high school. I work at the high school as well. But she doesn't have an H.
Oh.
She has, her name starts with E. But my husband's family is from Kapaa. His brother did work at PMRF, but he has since passed. So, but Eugene Henriques was the business teacher at Kapaa for decades, typing.
So you married to Manuel?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
He's my classmate.
No kidding.
Go Kapaa.
Yeah. So, I don't know how to make the Zoom go off of me presenting. I'm going to have to present forever.
There should be, if you move your mouse, there should be a stop sharing button that shows up.
There we go. All right.
Any additional questions for Samantha?
But
I did, sorry, I might have missed it, but how do you have to lease the land or is it donated?
Right now, we are leasing the land. It is property owned by Bette Midler that is leased to Robert Farias that we are subleasing. We would love to purchase it. And we've made that offer. I'd have no idea how we'd afford it. But another pie in the sky vision is getting a covered arena, because there's another group of people who would like to ride with us that are unable to ride with us because they can't be in the sun. Certain medications, anxiety medicines, are solar reactive, and so they can't be in the sun. And then there's certain neurological conditions like myasthenia gravis, where they can't control their own body temperature. And so they can't be in the blazing hot sun unless they're wearing an ice vest, which we have had a rider wear an ice vest, but even at 9 in the morning, it was too hot for him. So getting a clear span building to cover our arena is another pie in the sky dream that I'm currently writing grants to see if I can fund them. But before you build anything, you better be sure that you're going to be there for a decade or more. So I would like to make the land ours. I just don't know how to make the land ours, seeing as it's a sublease of somebody else's. But getting the clear span building would completely change the way we do business. We could open it up to a whole host of new riders, and we wouldn't have to cancel every time it rains. So it would really change things. So that's another big dream. So the 3 big dreams are clear the front 10, cover the arena, and get solar powered, get a roof on that shipping container that we're turning into the office and feed and tack shed, and put a roof on that thing with solar panels so that we could actually get a computer and the internet. So, like, it's all of our instructors right now have to like write stuff down and then go home and put their lesson plans in, and then the responses to the lesson plan. And that's just not it's not a fun way to be a teacher. So it'd be great if you could write your lesson plan right there when it happens. So getting solar panels there would be another huge change.
Any additional questions?
Question?
Craig?
Yep.
So do you get any Department of Health funding or education funding in grant form for your clients?
We have a couple of our clients are actually, like I said, we have that social worker who does treatments there. And so they can have their insurance cover it as long as they're getting treatment and overseen. So the social worker will stand next to the instructor and say, this is what I want them to get out of today's lesson. Help me design a lesson to achieve that goal. And so that is one way that the client can use their personal insurance. We have not yet got any state Department of Health funding. The closest we got to any state help was we got some funds from HTA last year. We were so excited. It was the first time we ever got a big chunk of change in a grant award. The HTA awarded us $20,000, but then COVID hit in March and they said give it back. And so we had to give back everything we hadn't already spent, which was like crushing. Because like you're like, oh, 20K, we can finally clear the front acreage. And then no. Give it back. So we had to give it back. Good thing we had spent some of it. So we did get some HTA funding, and this December 2020, we got some Atherton funding and some Wilcox funding, and then a very small gift from the Pirelli Foundation. And so the Pirelli Foundation is giving us the knowledge that we need to move forward with the veterans program with the groundwork component. We thought it was very important to have the groundwork because honestly, we didn't know if our veterans were going to be over 250 pounds. So we thought we'd need to have something that we can do with someone who's too big to get on. Those 3 grants helped us a lot. And the Wilcox one was, they paid for the veterans, the scholarship, and they paid for the teen stipends. And so that was huge. And so with the teen stipends, we're going to get a whole new cadre of volunteers, essentially. So we're going to train 15 teens up as well as we can, and hopefully they stay around after the program. Oh, and the other exciting thing about the program is I've partnered with the Kauai High School JROTC class. because it's a veterans program, I approached them and said, hey, will you help us build our obstacle course? And they took it on as their community service project to build the obstacle course. Number one, because we were a venue that they're allowed to bring kids to during COVID. And they actually have to practice their like the Army Corps of Engineer skill set. And so they're going to practice their trail building and bridge building right there on our facility. So it was a win-win for both groups. So I'm excited that they're going to start actually making the pathways for the obstacle course this weekend. Because when we brought in the chipper to chip that 1 acre down, it just dropped like 9 inches of chips. And so they're going to rake the chips aside to make trails. And then the trail will lead to an obstacle. And then you can challenge the obstacle. And then you'll go take the trail. And so it's going to be a windy back and forth obstacle course in that 1 acre.
Anyone else? Well, Samantha, thank you very much for your time this morning. A fascinating program, and really, I think a very much needed program for the island, and also the veterans program you're talking about. So thank you very much. And if you could send just a list of projects that you might have to Rick, it's certainly something that our club could take a look at, and possibly with some of the other clubs on the island, there might be some opportunities. But thank you very much for your time this morning, and we certainly do appreciate that.
And like I said, if you got 2 more veterans, get them signed up. Thank you. All righty, bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. So does anyone else have anything they want to share, offer, or bring up before we sign off this morning? If not,
I do.
Oh,
There was an I do.
Yes, hello.
So pretty much dropped the ball on the golfing thing. I'm looking to do this possible mini golf tournament, maybe fundraiser between now and when Rick gets done with his presidency. So anyway, I'll try to work on it, and I put myself on the line right here. I will work on it, and you'll be hearing from me.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Rodney. And Jonathan will be sending us some information on Pauhana next week. And again, a reminder to take a look at the email Rick sent out about Joycelyn. And any questions, please send those out to Rick. Otherwise, have a nice rest of your day and a nice rest of your month. We are out.
Bing.
Okay.